All right, young scholars, this week 4-8, I'm going to teach you on how to potentially promote your website if you so choose and creating a digital presence for yourself. So this week's participation points will be based on providing me a paragraph on how you would promote your website using social media or SEO, search engine optimization. So you notice here we have quite a lengthy PowerPoint, 59 slides. I'm not going to go through all of the slides verbatim, so I will just touch on the main points. So the purpose of SEO or search engine optimization is basically anything you could do to get people to visit your website and find you online. So it's technically not paid advertising, even though some people will use paid advertising to enhance their SEO. So SEO influences rankings in the natural order. People want to find you, they can find you. PPC or pay per click enhances that in some way. The idea is that if you stop paying for the pay per clicks, then you might stop receiving traffic to your website. And then SEM or search engine marketing encompasses a combination of both. You create a marketing plan in order to get people to visit your website. So here is how SEO looks. You'll notice here sponsored links at the top. Those are in essence pay per clicks. People pay to be listed as a sponsored link for this certain keyword here, and they're listed. What shows up naturally are SEO produced results for that search term. Here are the most commonly used search engines for SEO these days. Google, people use Google AdWords to pay. Bing, people use Microsoft advertising to pay. And not as used anymore is Yahoo Search. So the idea with SEO is you want to find the right keyword relevant to your business and popular with searchers. The best way to go about that is to research your keyword. You could use these possible websites if you choose. I always suggest what are called long tail keywords that include the keyword you're looking for. So rather than fruit, you might want to use the search term delicious fruit or fresh fruit. This way you have the search term fruit in your search term, but you're going to end up paying less for your pay-per-clicks. It's important to understand that with SEO, there's constant changes involved. So you should have relevant links from important websites pointing to your website. Anchor text, keyword-rich title tags, keyword-rich content, etc. I've showed you this in class with the ESPN website with the meta tags, but these are all much easier to do with WordPress, which we'll show or mention later in the slides. There are 7 steps associated with good SEO listed here. The first is to get your website fully indexed, which we'll do in class on the 22nd once all of our sites are set up using a tool called Pingler. In essence, it allows the internet to find your site. Here's some more information on why you want to have your website indexed. And here are some examples of pages that are not spider friendly. In other words, spiders index your pages, but only if they're there. If they can't be found, they're not going to be found by anyone else either. So you want to have your pages visible as well. You might want to have a theme associated with every page. But keep in mind that the meta tags are not magic. They don't automatically get people to your website. You want to build up your page rank by exchanging links with other websites. You could look up your page rank. It may be anywhere from 0 to 10. Your page rank is going to start off as 0 because you're a brand new website. You're going to want to exchange possible links with other content in that area. So, for example, if you were running a retail store, you might want to exchange links with Rite Aid, for example, or TJ Maxx as another example. And the idea is to always leverage your page rank. It doesn't help you as a 0 to exchange links with another 0. You might want to go for a 4 or a 5 to help bump up your page rank. You also want to avoid possible duplicate pages because this will hurt your page rank in the long run. You want to encourage click-through, which is basically somebody shows up on your website, they want to go to the other pages associated with it. They don't want to go to your web page for 20 seconds and then leave and never come back. The idea is you want to sell them on something, whether it's yourself, they purchase something, whatever it may be. Then the idea is to track the right metrics. You want to see how many people are going to your website, how many people are going to certain pages. If they're not going to certain pages, that means that you will need to fix up that page associated with what you're doing. And here's some worst practices you want to avoid. You want to create deep, useful content rather than just repetitive nonsense. You want to avoid spamming within your web page as well. So here are some examples on slides 20 and 21. For example, cloaking. You make a copy of a page and put it somewhere else, or a copy of your tags and put it somewhere else. That's not necessarily helpful. So these aren't spam, but they're bad for rankings. A splash page. You'll see when you go to a web page, something pops up before you can get to the actual page itself. Most of the time, people are just going to click away from that specific page. So in summary, when it comes to SEO, you want to focus on the right keywords and have a lot of good information on your website that people actually care for when they show up to see it. So the pay-per-click allows you to bid on the search terms you want. You only pay when somebody clicks to get to your website. Again, these sponsored links, they're using the search term flowers. As I mentioned, you might want to go for cheaper, longer keywords such as perennial flowers. So here's some positives of pay-per-click that you can see here. You can control your budget, immediately placed. You only pay if traffic is produced. There are also negatives, though. It requires a lot of research. It can cost you a lot of money if you're doing it wrong, and requires you to have some kind of knowledge about the industry. So you need to know who else is in the flower industry, what search terms they're using, which also involves the research. So here's an example of a Google AdWords campaign. Coffee drinks, over 5,000 clicks, costing about a little over $300. So instead of just using coffee, it's coffee drinks, coffee beans, coffee merchandise, coffee shops, cafes, baked goods, all associated search terms that are not going to be as expensive as coffee. Here's another example of a Google AdWords campaign. Now, what is a content management system? Well, they're used to create and store content online or data online. Think of it like the learning management system we're using in class, Blackboard. It makes things easier, and you have had very little knowledge required in order to use them. So that's one of the common reasons is no technical skills are required. The other, they're always updated to comply with the World Wide Web standards required. So what is content? Basically any data you can put on a website. Text, image, graphics, etc. So why do you want to use it? Well, it allows us to create and manage our web pages and images and authoring tools and provides us with free templates as well. Commonly, you need a database with MySQL required. PHP code is in the background, and you need the Apache HTTP server in order to run it. The most common content management systems are Drupal, Joomla, and WordPress. And as you'll see, there's a lot of differences between the two of them, which is why most people will use WordPress. So here are some differences between the different CMS content management systems that you can see. So why do we want to use them? Well, basically all the information is stored within those content management systems. It's open source, it's free. You have your website domain set up, purchased, and you can use and install WordPress to it, or Drupal or Joomla, and go from there. And it allows you to be, as Seinfeld said, the master of your own domain. So here's some information about Joomla, written in PHP, etc. Here are reasons why you might want to choose to use Joomla, even though it's a little advanced. Here's some issues with WordPress, even though it's considered the easiest to use. It's ideal for bloggers and easy to install and use. You can change up your different designs, but you need to know a bit about the WordPress scripting. And you can even add membership functionality. Unfortunately, this opens you up to possibly being hacked. So you need to keep an update or an eye on your updates constantly. So why might you want to use WordPress? Well, you can basically create any kind of website you want. It allows you to have different themes, plugins, etc., in order to create an awesome looking website. So you can either use a free website on the WordPress website itself, you can install it to your domain as mentioned, and you could use different themes, upload them to use or select them, or you can even create your own. That might make you quite a bit of money in the long haul if you end up creating WordPress themes because other people can purchase them. Here are some issues associated with Drupal. And here are some other content management systems you may have seen previous: Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, Blogger, Weebly, Moodle. So here's the learning curve associated with each of the three I mentioned. WordPress, very easy, no experience required. Joomla, it's medium. It's a little easier than Drupal, but harder than WordPress. And then Drupal actually requires quite a bit of technical expertise because you're always going to have to create major updates. So associated with e-commerce, I give you an idea of how each of the three would look if you were to create an e-commerce website. Here's my thoughts on how they are related to SEO friendliness, how you can create meta tags within your different pages you created. WordPress is the best. The other two are With respect to speed, most of them are pretty good. However, Drupal has a tendency to consume resources if you do not have your pages set up correctly. With respect to plugins, again, WordPress comes out on top there as well. Same with themes. Joomla, Drupal, you kind of have a little to choose from here and there. Whereas with WordPress, as I mentioned, people are constantly creating more and more themes, some of which may be purchased, others are installed free simply by finding. You can unzip them. You can select themes available through the WordPress installed on your domain as well. Nearly all of them are mobile friendly and allow you different plugins to set up what you might want to look at. You could always check it on a laptop and then look how it looks different on your phone or other mobile devices as well. So once installed, it's easier to have your website host install for you to avoid potential errors. A lot of times you'll just log into your admin panel using WordPress. It'll be WP-admin at the end of your domain name. All actions are going to occur within the admin panel, such as adding pages, adding posts, etc., uploading things. So here's an example of how a WordPress admin page would look. Here we're creating a new page using the different views. Here's an example of a Joomla admin page. You just notice from looking at them how much different they are and how WordPress is much more intuitive, easier to use. Here's an example of your Drupal admin page. Again, you see how much easier WordPress seems to be able to use as opposed to Drupal or Joomla. So the idea behind using social media for websites is that you can add authenticity, grab attention, boost imagery, and even invite people. You might want to create a Twitter account, an Instagram account. Maybe you have a retail site you're creating. You could pop up a picture on Instagram and, hey, we're starting to sell this new product starting tomorrow. Come get it before it sells out. The idea you want to use social media to assist your website for is to drive more traffic to your website. You have a Facebook page, you have a Instagram page. You can promote your website on those as well. You might have 800 friends on Instagram. Pop up a few pictures. Hey, go to this website I just created. It produces more traffic, has the potential to create more revenue, will increase your brand awareness, and will help you build a personal connection with not only your friends, but also your customers. Here are the most commonly used social media for promotion these days: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I know social media also includes VSCO and Snapchat. Snapchat has been used to promote websites, but it's a little trickier to do. It's entirely up to you if you wanted to use it or not. And then last but not least, I have 2 articles up on my own personal website on how to promote websites as well. So again, for this week, you're going to simply email me a paragraph on how you would promote your website using social media, SEO, etc., anything else discussed in today's lesson for the participation points. And that's all for this week's lecture.